it like, folks. Welcome to Life of the Lounge for the Heart of the Hour Camar. Life of the Lounge number 59. So, welcome to the show. Just be much the same as normal. Send in your greetings. Say hello to your pals. Pitch in your guesses. Guess what's in the box. Just all the normal stuff, folks. So, usually I just spend a bit of time yapping. We see Vaughan's streaming through alright, but I think it's alright, is it, Shona?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So, on that note, Shona, you want to come and say hello? She's been off a hair play the last couple of days, so I really see her back. But
look at my googly eyes. Take my glasses off.
That's better. You're like a robot. So she's had enough of her back, but she's a total trooper and is here anyway. I did say don't worry about it, I'll date myself if you want. But she no, I'm gonna be there. So
I'm really tired because I didn't sleep last night till 7:30 this morning. Insomnia and a sore back's no good. Yeah. I tried sleeping on the floor of the bathroom and that didn't help. And I was hanging off a bed at one moment. I had my head in the floor and my legs up in the air, and that didn't help.
That's usually hangover, so carry on, sir.
Yeah. But it was that sore. I was sick. It was like, anyway, so I'm here. I am singing tonight. Roddy's going to come and do his Roddy's recipe night, and he's also going to sing a song with me. So yeah,
well, that'll be a revelation because I've got no idea if he's coming with this time.
For both.
For his recipe.
I haven't got a clue either. He just said he would tell Abdi about a favourite recipe.
He's plotted a bit, but he hasn't really indulged in the high cuisine that he's been dabbling with in previous weeks. But anyway, send in your hellos. We've got our normal big favourites.
Oh, what's in the box? 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 What's in the box?
Aye, that's probably been keeping folk for sleeping all over the world.
For
the past year. But,
are we quite close? I feel like we're quite close.
No, I'm just
if I move, I'm going to be like...
but you need to be close for this. So, there's that, fits in the box well. So see what you think of that. Now, again, it's a bit of a guess, but you might be lucky and you might have an idea what's going to be a certain type of thing, possibly, by the sound of it, because obviously it's not cotton wool by the sounds of that.
No.
It's not fine crystal or something like that. So
well, you wouldn't be shocking if it was...
No, I wouldn't have.
It's not anything brackable if he's got him like that.
I'd be like this. Fits in the box this week. So there you go. Moderately heavy for the size of the box. So there you go. And then...
If it's a beer...
It's a beer this week.
Ale, lager, beer. What is
it's treacle and water. I've got the full of the... No, it's not, but it is very dark. You want to smell?
Am I going to like it?
I don't know, I can.
It's not as bad.
No, it's nice.
It doesn't smell as bad as it probably tastes. How it tastes. Is it mine?
No.
Will I like it?
I don't care. It's one of these things. I've never had this. Now, I will say this is a brewery. I've had beer for this brewery before. Scottish as usual.
I could probably drink that.
Aye.
It maybe helps that I've just cleaned my teeth. It's maybe not as strong if I don't know why I do that every week. I clean my teeth 5 minutes before we come on.
Crazy.
Well, I do that when we go out and do a proper gig, and I think it's just...
No, it's just habit getting ready for the show.
Yeah.
So anyway, tell us what you think it might be. As I said, it's Scottish. It's in a Belgian glass, so I got this glass for an undisclosed location in Belgium.
I was going to say sorry, Shona Robertson, but...
Let's see, it's I can it's back to front, but this is called Duvel.
Or Duval?
Duvel.
It's Duvel.
Duvel, no Duval, that's being posher. But it's one of the strongest beers in Belgium, and that's saying something. But it was off a fine. We were dealt the Carcani with it because it could. It was a Rock Salt Nails tour, and you better watch that. But I like Belgium, great place. So, couple of themes tonight. It's World Dance Day. It was yesterday, I think. International Day of Dance, and I'm not going to dance for you folks. You'll be disappointed. I'm not going to do any Michael Flatley-esque cavorting. I'm not going to do that, but we are going to. There's one or two things that will be referencing that. And the other thing to mind is, an awful lot of these tunes are dance tunes. Kind of Scottish fiddle music, strathspeys, jigs, hornpipes, and reels. There are dance tunes, so we're really tapping into that anyway. And the other thing is, due to the fact I'm doing a couple things in relation to the River Spey this weekend. I've got a couple of TV things. It's like buses, kind of nothing a year and there's talk about it once, but it's totally different aspects, but it is in relation to the Spey. So I thought this week my fiddle music would all be themed upon the River Spey, the source of the Spey, Scotland's national dance, and the repertoire it goes with it. So I'm going to start with something I probably shouldn't be playing yet because I've only just been tinkering with it the last wee while. I'm going to play Tullochgorum, which is a real place. It's a firm on the banks of the River Spey, between Granton and Spey and Aviemore. It's kind of midway in between, and it looks right across the river towards the Cairngorms, and it is quite an amazing place. But this, it's a classic of Scottish fiddle music, this Tullochgorum. It just means the Blue Hill, I think. It's as simple as that. A lot of Gaelic place names, mainly I think in fact, they're descriptive. So if you've got a place called Inver, it means the mouth of the river. So Inverness is the mouth of the River Ness. As simple as that. So, Tullochgorum. And it's one of my favourites for Speys, and I've been playing it for a long time, but for I'm adding in James Scott Skinner's variations, and that is something that I didn't do. And mainly because I don't really care for them a great deal. But they are a challenge. So I stuck them up yesterday, and that's all very well, because if it's never very good, I want to post it. I'm going to do it live, so I'm going to have a go. Tullochgorum with James Scott Skinner's variations. So let's, Ken, what you think of these, and I'll try and get through to the end. Notice I didn't take much beer if I was starting this. thing.
Yeah, right.
It's
You
pretty
are
demanding. I was
sweating.
the last bit. It's so quick. It's difficult to hear, but it's.
They're making my head
There you go.
explode.
What a thing, eh? So as I said, I don't really. It's okay. I mean, it's quite an impressive thing. It's demanding to play, but I'll be honest. I prefer the original melody and its wild Highland
Sandy White is
splendour.
Does
So I
it?
prefer that. But anyway, it's a fair thing, and it made me sweat. It's the quickest I've ever. It's knocked the sweat out of
Gosh,
my
yeah,
lungs.
look at you. You're the listening. Sandy White says it sounds quite classical.
Well, it's a James Scott Skinner variations, and they work around the basic chords of the tune, but they get progressively more complicated and tricky to play. It's had the een popping out of my head for a wee while. You just have to sit and work it. There's no shortcuts. You just have to go with it until it begins to flow. But I'm not really totally happy with it. But River Spey, well, let's just go for it, eh? Instead of telly, so, well,
How
so
are
it
you
is, I
going to
suppose.
follow that up?
I'm going to play a slow air, folks.
Oh, Bill Brandy says that's awful like my sark you have on.
Well, I was round your house and I nicked off the line, so
I think it's at
there
the
you go.
Edinburgh Woolen Mill.
I think it.
Or a Tesco.
No, I think it was a woolen mill, actually.
Love a Woolen Mill.
But Bunkerine's shut now, so to
Right.
my great disappointment.
I have got a lot of hellos to say hello to Alan
Okay.
and Rona Taylor, our in Alford, Bonnie in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Leah Rosswell up in Bucky, your mum and dad up ahead of the hill, my mum and dad out in Huntly, Grace and Matt, Joe and Pat Aitken in Ashuri, Kerrymuir, Lorelei is in Etters, PA, Pennsylvania tonight.
Kerry Sure.
Kerryshire, no Kerrymuir, that's quite a good info. Oh, you're so quick, man. What should I cut yourself? Sharp. Morag and Robin Dempsey doing in the borders. Hello both. Uncle Tommy and Auntie Sonia and Huntley. Karen and Mike are up in a bind, but she's wondering if it's happened to the weather because it was so fine last week.
It's Aberdeenshire. That's what's happened.
Ulla in Sweden is joining us. Hello Ulla, Dougie Hay, Faye White Hills, Gordon Golden and Bonnie Whitney, Shirley and John. Well, it's actually just Shirley folks tonight because John's in the pub. Quite right, John.
I can see this is going to be a theme as the days get longer and it gets milder. We'll see where numbers dwindling on a Friday night.
Make sure that your local pub's got Wi-Fi and take your phone down you and you can watch us
cast
in
it
the
up on
pub.
the telly. That would be
Aye.
we can double our numbers.
Daria and Gordon Muir over the side of the village. Alexander Thompson up Peterhead. Charlie and Rona in the village. I hope Charlie's not going to phone you tonight.
You'll be fair to touch it.
That was funny. Catherine Brown is watching. Jane Roberts in Philadelphia. Tracy and Hugh Adelsey are joining us. Tracy's been up since 5:30. We could have been sitting messaging each other,
So
Tracy,
you'll be
because I
feel-
was awake then
You'll
as
be
well.
feeling like Shona in
Yeah.
that case.
The Brandies and Lawrence Garker watching. Hello, Alison McDonald in the San Francisco Bay Area. Harry Lash in the Netherlands is watching, and he says Duval.
Means
No,
the
Duval. It
devil.
means the devil.
Aye. Watch yourself, it's fearsome stuff. It's
Elizabeth.
actually not unlike that in colour. It's quite dark.
Right. Elizabeth McMillan is watching in Ottawa. Bud Freeman in Athens, Georgia. Dorian and Melvin Wood are in Port Soy tonight. Yeah.
Love Port Soy.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic place.
Anne and Paul are joining us, our locals in Lumfannon, and we've got a update.
Fits for dinner
To Anne
tonight.
and Paul for hay for their tea. Well, it's the first time in donkeys that the Hinna Baith been working this weekend, so they're having pizza, chicken dippers, garlic bread, beer, and gin cocktails.
Well, give me an
Sounds
hour,
ace.
we'll be round for the leftovers.
Sounds ace. Elaine and George Mitchell are joining us. Hello, Adakin.
I saw a picture of them, they were in a pub or something.
No, they were out for their dinner.
Aye.
Koi Thai, is it? It looks mega fine. Elaine likes it, and it looks like a great place. We'll head to try it. Sally Day Butler's joining us. Shona Robertson and other Robertsons in the Aberdeen Arms. Sandy Thompson in Dingwall. I can't read mine writing. Sandy says sorry he's been missing in action, but he's had family duties. His lovely little granddaughter's been visiting.
Quite right.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing,
And
folks.
Joe Aitken said it's alright, we took the opportunity to speak about you when you weren't here. We didn't. We're not at course. Kate and Jim Taylor in Garlogie, Liz and Roger Courtdown in Lincolnshire, the Whites in Mintla, and Ian and Norma Russell in Aberdeen. And Ian says that his father sang Tulloch Gorham, hopefully not with all the variations.
The Reverend John Skinner, he's buried in Longside, and Robert Burns said it was the finest song ever written in Scots. There you go. Based on that great Highland tune for Strathspey, Tulloch Gorham. One of the greats. It was a great favourite of Skinner. Well, you could tell he put his variations, but Neil Gow was very fond of it as well. So there you go. It's quintessentially wild and Highland. I love it. So now, what am I going to play? I'm going to. Well, I spoke about looking across the Cairngorms for Tulloch Gorham. I'm going to play the Slow Air Cairngorm, which is found in the Captain Simon Fraser collection, and it's a lovely tune actually. So I'm going to play that, and then I'm going to go into Miss Hannah of Elgin, which is a tune by William Marshall. Elgin's nae really on the River Spey. Well, it's nae really, it's totally nae in the Spey at all, but it's very close. And certainly the Spey runs through Murray, goes through Faughibers actually, which is very close to Elgin. But it's the capital of Murray, really. It's the biggest tune by quite a bit. So, in fact, it's Elgin City, isn't it? It's got a cathedral
with a certain type of spire, isn't it?
But let's say it's not wind and water tight, and that's the Wolf of Bednich's fault. He burnt it down. He had a bit of a temper tantrum, and it's now looking its best. But it's a splendid place. It must have been magnificent. So, a couple of tunes.
Aye, there's a general consensus that we should be live from the pub one night.
Well, I'd be the first in the queue, I'll be honest. Funny enough though, I'm not really in a hurry to flee at the pub just to see how things go, but it will be nice to be able to see your mates and just shoot the breeze and have a beer and just have some crack. I mean, this is fine, but we're basically looking at my phone and myself and Shona. So we see ourselves every week.
What's wrong with looking at me like?
We see each other every day. We've seen each other every day since lockdown, and that's nae been bad at all. But it's there's a lot of folk in our scene, and that's the kind of sad thing about it.
Hello to Fiona and David Gardner. Uncle Tommy would like another Shocky of the Box. Joe Aitken says
I'll get Shocky the beer first because I'm.
This is that's going to help. Sandy Thompson says he was born in Lagan and lived in Nakando. Is it Nakando? Nakando.
Yeah.
So he's got Speyside in his blood.
Well, he is, aye.
And Alan Taylor has an
Yeah, just for you, Tommy, a wee Shocky of the Box.
I said I would wait until you were finished playing. I didn't want to ruin up Bonnie Slower by coming up the hin and getting it a shack. Yes, what?
Ian Russell says for the beer or dirt.
I've got a list, don't you worry. He's keeping it right. I have got some guesses for the beer. Alison McDonald thinks Dark Island, as does Paul Gray, and so does Ian Russell. 3 people think it's Orkney Dark Island.
That's
Morag Dempsey thinks it's Liquid Velvet from Born on the Borders Brewery, which sounds amazing. I'd like to drink Liquid Velvet.
A wee drop of the Liquid Velvet sounds very inviting. That's a great. Why did nobody come up with that before? You have to wonder because it's great.
I've never heard of that brewery. Born on the Borders. We'll have to go and look. Harry Lash thinks Black Isle Porter, and Bill Brandy thinks Sweetheart Stout.
Good stuff.
And for the box, what's in the box? Shadley Folks thinks Tuckets for the Loon Beats. Tracy Addlesey thinks Castanets. Now, what's the difference between maracas and castanets?
Maracas, you shock them. They've got
I always get mixed up with them. So
they
the
look like
castanets
clubs, but they're hollow and full of beans or something like that.
So the castanets are the crabby hands.
Yeah, that's
what was that?
God,
you could have been Spanish, man.
I was about to say they're very popular in Spain.
So Tracy thinks it's castanets and Alan Taylor thinks coins.
Okay, well these are all great answers, but we'll have to wait till the end to find out. Roddy, are you want to come and do your bit now? Come on in.
And I've got a new hat.
He's got a new bonnet.
Oh, tell them where you got it.
Wait, what did I get?
The charity shop in Bankery.
The charity shop in Bankery.
It's a Kikero hat.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
So are you ready for your theme tune?
Yeah.
If you want to cook, but you don't have a book, if you want to learn how to bake, he's here to tell you all about his makes. It's Roddy's Recipe Night.
There you go. So, Roderick, what's the highlight of the cuisine this week for you? What's your best?
We haven't made it yet, but we are going to make it this week or next week.
What's up?
It's tatty soup.
Oh, tatty soup, aye. So, do you want to tell them how you're going to do that?
I don't know how you make it.
Well, fits in it. Fits the main things you can think of.
Tatties.
Aye, tatties.
Onions.
Neat.
Salt and vinegar.
No, not vinegar.
Salt and pepper.
Curry with the vinegar.
Carrots. Napes. Do you put napes in it?
Yeah, you do.
Aye, but
And you just cook it up.
And then...
Is there any meat in it?
There's mince.
Oh, you're putting mince.
And then...
Quite often folk would use leftover roast beef, actually. Would be quite common. But mince, I actually prefer it. Because you can't think one thing I never liked about tatty soup was time to time you get the meat, but there would be a bit of fat in it. And I don't mind fat if it's bristled up and cooked, but I'm not keen if it's rubbery. Nah, was never fond of that. So, mince suits me fine. So, that sounds excellent.
And then you cook it up and then you get a whiz, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we give it a whiz because Hector doesn't like it, or like the tatties and stuff.
Hector doesn't like chunky soup.
No.
Yeah, I'm the opposite.
Yeah, I love it.
Aye. So, well done, Roderick.
And what else are we going to make this week? What good recipes did you see that we thought, we'll give that a go?
What was it called again?
Well, there was 2. We thought the egg noodles.
Yeah, there's egg noodles, and then you know how
you mix
up eggs, and then you put flour through it, and then you put it like in a bag.
Yeah.
and then you like seal off the top, cut off the end, and then like squeeze out bits in like noodles. But you've like
Well, you squeeze it out into like your broth for your soup,
into
don't you?
broth and soup. So you've got like for breakfast you got
Or lunch
or lunch or dinner you've got egg noodles.
So we're going to try that.
We're gonna try that maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
So thank you for Roddy's recipes. You want to sing your song again?
Yeah.
If you want to cook, but you don't have a book, if you want to learn how to bake, he's here to tell you all about his mix.
It's Roddy's recipe night.
There you go. Thank you,
We'll
Roderick.
be back later on to sing.
I've got another hat for next
Yeah.
time I'm singing.
Good stuff, man. Well done. I've just had a rethink of the tatty soup with the meat. I don't think you put roast beef in it, was left over. I think it was like the joint. You can actual bone with the beef on it. I think that's probably, it came back to me in a flash here actually. So so there you go. Some false information. It was fake news, folks. I've had to correct myself. Anyway, going to move on to, as you'd expect, Strathspeys. I'm going to play some Strathspeys. I mean, it's just a place for them. That's great Strathspeys all over Scotland actually, but one or two of the best teams certainly come from that neck of the woods. And I'm going to start with a couple of tunes by William Marshall, who was certainly one of Scotland's greatest composers. I'm going to play The Banks of Spey, then Craigellachie Brig, which is a famous landmark. It was big news in its day. I think it was Thomas Telford that designed it and had it built. And it was miles to the next crossing, really, I think. So it was a big thing in its day. Craigellachie Brig, and then I'm going to finish with a real cut, Easter Elchies, which is again a William Marshall tune. Easter Elchies is for the Macallan whisky distillery and of course that part of the world famous for its whisky, Speyside malts. So there you go. So Shona, you were wanting to ask
Yeah, I
something.
was just going to say, let me find the comment a wee minute. Alan Taylor and Sandy Thompson both said that they've got Speyside in their blood. Well, Joe Aitken says he's introducing some of the Spey into his blood as we speak.
Okay. Well, it is
Very
just
clever.
it's just water that's been soaked in barley, really, isn't it? There's just water. That's the only ingredient in the barley. So you'd be right enough with that Speyside water. So anyway, a couple of Strathspeys and a reel. Easy cane, I didn't play that in very often, ever, in fact. So there you go. Right, here we go. It's a big treat for you folks. This is Shona's suggestion. I've heard this done by quite a few, well, not quite a few folk, but one or two folk making a great job of this. Notably, Ian McFarlane, the great fiddler fae Glenfinnan, his feather did it. We were at the Glenties Fiddle Festival, and apparently Ian's feather has never wore a pair of trousers in his life. He's worn the kilt his entire life, and he's a real character, a great boy. And I heard, this is why I heard doing this, and it's a great thing. It's called The Day McAllister Danced Before the King. And he's just got the accent. I struggle to sound like anything other than Aberdeenshire, but I'll try to.
Is it right?
I'll try my best anyway. So this is our first for you folks. Sit back and relax, have a dram. Clansmen, the peats are burning bright, then sit round in a ring, and I will tell of that great night I danced before the king. For as a dancer in my youth, so great was my renown, the king himself invited me to visit London town. My brand new presentation kilt and ornaments I wore, as with my skiing do I rapped upon the palace door. And soon I heard a lord or duke come running down the stair, who to the keyhole put his mouth, demanding who was there. Opening the door, I sternly cried as quickly as you can, is this the way that you receive a Highland gentleman? The door was opened, word went round, McAllister is here, and at this news the palace rang with one tremendous cheer. The king was sitting on his throne, but down the steps he came. Immediately the waiting lord pronounced my magic name. The lovely ladies of the court, with pearls and jewels decked, all blushed and trembled as I bowed to them with great respect. Slowly at first with hands on hips I danced with ease and grace, then raised my arms above my head, and swifter grew the pace. At last no human eye could see my steps so light and quick, and from the floor great clouds of dust came rising fast and thick. The king was deeply moved, and shook me by the hand in friends true. Alas, he cried, although a king, I canna dance like you. And then the gracious queen herself came smiling up to me. She pinned a medal on my breast for everyone to see. Her whisper I shall not forget, nor how her eyes grew dim. Oh, where were you, McAllister, the day I married him? It's a brilliant poem.
You're not going to say who wrote it?
Oh, sorry, I got carried away. I suddenly forgot. Aye, that was written by D.M. Mackenzie, and it was said to be a favourite of the Queen Mother, who had a wee glint in her eye whenever she heard it. But it's a great work, that. So there you go, and that's enough for me for the moment. I think we'll move out of bed and let Shona sing you a few songs.
Okay. Right. I've got a few hellos and some guesses. Oops. Hello to Frank and Lorraine Ribbons over in Abine. Jake Buchan is joining us, and Katinka Baxton as well. Got a few guesses. Sandy Thompson thinks that the beer might be Wolf of Glenmurray, which I've never heard of. That sounds quite interesting. Wolf of Glenmurray. And the box, let's see. Alison McDonald thinks it could be a set of keys. Sandy White thinks 4 dominoes. Roger Court thinks... now, what did Roger think? Did he think a chain or did he think something else? I've got chain written down for both of you. I don't know why. Liz thought... Or maybe Liz thought a chain. I don't know. I'll have to look back and see which one of you thought what. Because I've written chain for both of you. Katinka thinks it might be a spring. Ian Russell thinks a slinky. Bill Brandy thinks a medal with a chain for around your neck. And Sandy Thompson thinks a necklace. So there you go. I'm going to start off with a... You could maybe look back through my phone and see what Liz said for their guesses. Because I know they both didn't choose chain, but obviously it was in my head. I'm going to start off with a song called I Ain't Slewed a Lass. And I've known this for years, I can't even remember when I heard it first. Or sometimes known as The False Bride. There's a lot of different versions. This was, I think, first printed on a broadside in Newcastle in the 1680s, would you believe? So there's loads of different versions of it, and this is just one. I probably heard it on a CD or something when I was young, I think. Yeah, this is I Ain't Luda Lass.
Elizabeth thinks Lego.
Oh, Lego! Of course. Can you pass over my fiddle just a minute, Paul, so we can get a starting note for this? Then can you? I've written down the wrong key. So this is I Ain't Luda Lass. I ain't Luda Lass, and a luder say will, that I hated all others who spoke of her ill, and knew she's rewarded me well for my love, for she's gone to be wed to another. I saw my love sit to the cargo, we bridegrooms and maidens, they made a fine show, and I followed them on with my heart full of woe, for she's gone to be wed to another. I saw my love set down to dine, and I sat down aside her and poured out the wine, and I drank to the lassie for should have been mine, but now she is wed to another. The men of the forest, they asked of me how many strawberries grow in the salt sea, and I answered them all with a tear in my eye. How many ships sail in the forest? Oh, dig me a grave and dig it so deep, and cover it o'er with flowers so sweet, and I will lie down and I'll tuck a long sleep, and maybe in time I'll forget her. Aye, and maybe in time I'll forget her. So there you go. Jeannie Robertson and Lizzie Higgins also did a version of that song called My Auld Sheen. You're Only My Auld Sheen. And yeah, it's just slightly different version, so there you go. Paul mentioned it was International Dance Day yesterday. So my other 3 songs are to do with songs to do with dancing, or mentions dance or something. Can you go and see what Roddy's doing? I think he's playing with a tractor, a toy tractor in the bath. But he's doing an awful lot of rumbling. Sorry. So, this next one, I've sung this for quite a while. It's a song by Steve Tolson. And it's got 2 links to this week actually. It mentions dancing, and it also mentions something that happened on the 28th of April. Sorry, Paul's yapping. I don't know if you can hear him or not. So, this is a song called Slip, Jigs and Reels, and Steve Tolson wrote it. I don't think it's obviously not factually correct about Billy the Kid, but it's kind of loosely based Billy the Kid kind of style. And Billy the Kid was born Henry McCarty in 1859, and he died on the 14th of July 1881. But on the 28th of April, so 2 days ago in 1881, he was tried, convicted and sentenced to hang for the murder of William Brodie, who was the Lincoln County Deputy Sheriff. But he escaped on the 28th of April from jail, killing 2 deputy sheriffs and evading capture for 2 more months. So I thought, oh cool, I know a song about Billy the Kid. And it obviously mentions dancing as well. So this is Slip, Jigs and Reels. Is that going to be a bit too low? I might be singing from my boots. Oh, just while I remember, there was a bit of a conversation about what beef to use for your tatty soup. But Shirley made a good comment about what she did a choke on a tatty. You know that song?
Yeah.
I choke it on a tatty, a tatty. I choke it on a tatty, on a plate, a tatty, plate, a tatty, plate, a tatty soup. That was a Singing Kettle favourite. If you don't know the Singing Kettle, go and Google them. What?
Oh, possibly do that.
Oh, I love the Singing Kettle.
It's fun. Tiddle
It's for kids.
Yeah.
That was my childhood. Singing Kettle tapes in the car. Anyway, so, right. Let's go for Slip, Jigs and Reels. He was barely a man in his grandfather's coat, sewn into the lining a 10-shilling note. Farewell to my family, farewell to the shore. Till I seek a fortune, you'll see me no more. The boat on the ocean, it bobbed like a cork, until one fine morning they sighted New York, and he stood on the gangplank and he breathed in the air. Hello, land of plenty, I've come for my share. But he did like the ladies and the rise and the fall of their ankles and dresses down on the dance floor, rolling the dice and spinning the wheel. But he took most delight in the slip, jigs and reels. Now there's talk of a pistol and some say a knife, but all were agreed there was somebody's wife. Some kind of commotion, a terrible fight. He left one man dead and ran into the night. Next train to St. Louis, just one jump ahead. He left one eye open, a gun neath his head, and he dreamt of the green fields and the mountains of home, while crossing the plains where the buffalo roam. But he did like the ladies and the rise and the fall of their ankles and dresses down on the dance floor, rolling the dice and spinning the wheel. But he took most delight in the slip, jigs and reels. Aye, they called him the Kid, and by 21 all that he knew was the power of the gun, and by 23 he had shot 5 men down who had gotten his way as he rambled around. But a bad reputation's a hard thing to bear, for mothers pour scorn and young children do stare. But he found consolation in flash company, and life ain't so bad with a girl on your knee. But he did like the ladies and the rise and the fall of their ankles and dresses down on the dance floor, rolling the dice and spinning the wheel. But he took most delight in the slip, jigs and reels. Now there's bones in the desert and buzzards that fly, and high lazy circles just wishing you'd die. But in matters of cruelty, it must be said that the landlord will pick your bones before you're dead. 'Twas in wild Mescaleros, I have heard people say, a deadliest ambush near old Santa Fe, and a young buck who was taken, still wearing his his coat, sewn into the lining a 10-shilling note. But he did like the ladies on the rise and the fall, of their ankles and dresses down on the dance floor, rolling the dice and spinning the wheel. But he took most delight in the slip jigs and reels. But he did like the ladies and the rise and the fall, of their ankles and dresses down on the dance floor, rolling the dice and spinning the wheel. But he took most delight in the slip jigs and reels. Was it Roddy playing with a tractor in a bath?
He was annoying. One of them.
He was doing something. Have you got some notices?
Alison McDonald says pretty earrings.
The multicoloured ones.
Harry Lash thinks it might be tatties in the box for Roddy's soup.
Okay.
And he thinks it's Tushka oatmeal stout for Shetland that I'm drinking. Paul Gray is asking whether he gets to sing the floral dance. Mind Terry Wogan's
Oh yeah.
hit.
Ah, I missed a trick there.
Sally Day Butler is asking.
That's all you're getting.
A new CD, have you considered it?
Well, it is actually 10 years since my first and my last CD came out. So it is something I'm considering, Sally, but not something that I'm thinking imminently. Paul actually has recently got himself set up to be able to record stuff at home properly. Yeah. So it might be a case, I'll just record them in the kitchen and chuck them out.
Yeah, well,
I doubt it, but I'll see.
Yeah, it should be able to get a clean signal. That's the thing.
Yeah, I could just do like a live from the kitchen CD. We could do a live from the lounge CD, actually. Yeah. Over the last 59 weeks, our favourite tracks, or you could tell us your favourite tracks and we'll record them.
Well, I was going to say about that just shortly.
Oh, sorry.
No, it was just about next week actually.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But I was going to just last thing. Alexander Thompson was an update on how you mark tatty soup. It did make me laugh. I think there may be a bit of a clerical error on Fitzcaboot, but it says, Paul, tatty soup is made with a lump of plate.
Aye, plate beef.
Plate?
Aye.
Well, I thought you meant
it's like
that.
a cut. No, not an actual plate.
I just thought I'd come across quite amusing, but
no, Paul.
I had never heard a plate. Mm-hmm. Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
oh my god. No, we're not quite ready for your dad's doing his next set ready, and then I'll give you a shout.
So.
Right. Here's Paul.
Okay, well, Alexander, I must excuse myself there. I was being amused by somebody. I was making a fool of myself there, right? But a lump of plate. Well, that was news to me. So there you go.
So, plate is the 4/4 cut from the belly of the cow, just below the rib cut. Typically cheap, tough, and fatty meat. So that's why it's good. So in the UK butchery, it's considered to be part of the brisket.
Okay, well, so I can't be brisket is.
It's kind of like biling beef, really, isn't it?
That's biling beef, aye. There you go. So, I thought, you'll bile up that plate a long time when you got any flavour out of it. Nifty me, there's no colour in that soup today.
Oh my god.
Anyway, there you go, moving swiftly
on.
Could
it be an Asda plate or a Tesco plate or a... I can't believe you, Paul, oh my god.
Yeah, let's see. Take a look at the beer, put in your guesses, folks. Look at the it's a bonny colour actually. I reckon you can just about see. It's almost there's a rubiness to it. It's not as black as you think. So if you could see the light, look at that colour, lovely. Fine. So
you better do what's in the box.
Oh, somebody's asking about the fits in the box. So here we go before I play.
Oh, what's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Fits in the box. So putting a guess on it come in there just.
No, you've mucked up my system now.
Yeah, well, but it works for me. So right, the River Spey. There's actually loads of tunes that you could play. I'm going to drop something out that I might play another time actually because it's a lovely tune. I was thinking of playing Mrs. Jameson's Favourite by Charles Grant, but I'm going to play, it's too overstated, I'm going to play The Music of Spey by James Scott Skinner, which is a lovely tune. and followed by The Spey and Spate, again by James Scott Skinner. And I didn't feel you could really go past them because they're great tunes and very well kent. If a river's in Spate in Scotland, it's fin, it's stormy weather, usually a lot of melting snow, raining for days, and the rivers they've just turned into boiling cauldrons of furious water. So the Spey and Spate, you could just imagine, it is Britain's fastest flowing river, the British Isles. It's the fastest flowing river in the British Isles. It looks very benign actually when you see it flowing gently. It looks gently, but it's actually moving quicker than you would think, and it can be quite treacherous. One of the great salmon rivers in Britain actually, and indeed that's one of the pioneering things, the Spey cast. If you're a salmon fisherman, you'll care for that was, or indeed the double Spey cast. Says the man who doesn't fish.
It's 107 miles long, the river Spey.
Yep.
Just thought you'd like to know.
Well, it starts high near the west, much further than you might imagine. So. Some nice tunes. One thing I was going to say about Charles Grant, I mentioned about the fishing. He was a schoolmaster at Aberlour, which is pretty much where I think he come from, and he was noted for his knowledge of the classics, and he was a great angler. And it's said that he could or had fished every single pool in the entire length of the River Spey, and that would take some doing actually. That's quite remarkable. But he actually was a pupil of William Marshall, and he was good enough that when William Marshall lay on his deathbed, he was just a bit away. Charles went to play at his bedside, and he played his favourite tunes for him as he slipped away, his favourite Spays. And the family were so grateful that actually they left William's fiddle to Charles Grant. That same fiddle was the one that I played at the Celtic Connections recital last year, and it's in the care of Edinburgh University in their historic instruments collection. It's a Steiner, which is at the time was one of the best fiddles you could get, very highly regarded. So there you go. So I'm going to finish with one of my favourite Spays, the Rothe Marchus Rant, which was written by Robert Bremner early in the 1700s, and it was in fact it was Robert Burns's favourite fiddle tune, and he said words to it. The song is The Lassie with the Lint White Locks, and then I'm going to have a go at a tune I didn't ken, but I'm going to try it. It's called Ballindalach. That Ballindalach is actually for one of the original Aberdeen Angus hares come from the Ballindalach hare, the Grants of Ballindalach. Yes, sure.
Robert Burns said that the Rothy Marcus rant put him into raptures.
Well, I can understand how
He
he
was
feels.
that fond of the tune.
It's a brilliant tune. I can feel myself being enraptured sometimes as well. It's a great, it's a
Just
great
thought I'd
spay.
put that out there.
And then we're going to finish with a Real Italic, which now could be a wee bit controversial here because a lot of folk think that Tulloch for this tune was composed supposedly one wintry day, and it's Tulloch outside Ballater. But the Real Italic, the old version, has got two names: the Cummings Rant and the Real Italic. And Tulloch, there's a Tulloch up in Strathspey, and the Cummings family were very well known. And how did they say? Angus Cumming was born in 1750 in Granton, from a family who were for many generations regarded as exceptional musicians in Strathspey. So it's a long family tradition. In fact, one of the earliest paintings of a piper, a bagpiper, was I think he was a Cummings who was piper to the Laird of Grant at Castle Grant, and he's a splendid looking chap. So it's all the same family. So Angus could have written it, but it could have been somebody else. Anyway, the minister doesn't turn up. It's freezing cold. Congregation are stamping their feet trying to keep warm. Somebody lets them in. Very cold in the kirk. They start to shuckle about, keep their feet warm. Fiddle turns up. They start playing, and the excitement grows to the point that they're having a proper dance, and the Real Italic is apparently improvised on the spot. Next thing, the minister turns up, and probably they've been cursed as godless sinners and they're all going to hell. So there you go. Shona, what was you
Well,
going to say?
Scott Skinner said in Harp and Claymore that the Real Italic was composed by a MacGregor from Castle Grant.
A MacGregor.
In about 1640.
Well, there you go. Could be a MacGregor for Castle Grant.
Patterns.
But it's, well, I see, I
I
was...
prefer the Minister Need Turn Up story.
Yeah, but that could be right anyway. Absolutely, that's probably the origin of the story. But it's the fact that it had Cummings Rant. But I think it's definitely a Strathspey tune. So if you're from Ballater, you'll probably hate to beat me up the next time you see me. But I think it would be right. Indeed, there you go. The Real Italic. Right, Shona, are you want to
Yeah.
lump in? take over.
Yep. I've
Okay.
got somebody joining me.
Okay, oh, you've got Mr. Hats.
I've got a different hat.
I'll give you the hat this year.
This is the one that you got for your birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah, from Mum and Dad.
Roddy loves a hat.
Yep.
Okay, so I've got a few guesses for the box. Katinka thinks it's a pocket knife in the box. Bud Freeman thinks heavy machine nuts, and Paul Gray thinks it could be tassels from one of Paul's old sporrans. And for the beer, Sandy Thompson thinks Bellhaven Scottish Oat Stout. Okay, so Roddy and I are going to sing a song which mentions dance. It's all about dancing, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, and yesterday it was the National Day of Dance.
International Day.
International Day.
All
of Dance.
around the world. So, do you want to say anything about this song, Roddy?
The song we'll be singing is the Rock and Roll Waltz, and I've really got nothing else to say. I don't know what to say.
Well, it was a number one in 1956 for K-Star. It was written in 1955. I think there's been quite a few other recordings, but K-Star certainly was the best known of all those folk that recorded it. And it's a song that my mum used to sing to me when she was tucking me in at night. And it's a song that I used to sing to you.
But not anymore.
Not anymore, you say you're too big for getting
Yeah,
tucked in.
sometimes I like to sing it with you.
You do. And I actually didn't realise that Roddy knew this. You're doing this without words. I didn't even, you said, could we sing the Rock and Roll Waltz? And I said, do you know it? And you said yes, and you just sung it. And you've never actually learnt it. I think it's probably because I've sung it that much, it's gone into your brain. What do you think?
Telepathic.
Telepathically. Okay, so, going to sing the Rock and Roll Waltz.
Yeah.
Ready?
Wait, ow. I'll just hit myself.
You ready?
Yeah.
One night I was late, came home at 8, stepped out my shoes at the door. Then from the front room I heard a jump tune. I looked in and here's what I saw. There in the night was a wonderful scene. Mum was dancing with Dad to a record machine. But as they danced, only one thing was wrong. They were trying to waltz to a rock and roll song. 1, 2, and then rock. 1, 2, and then roll. They did the rock and roll waltz. Rock 2, 3, roll 2, 3. It looks so good to me. I love the rock and roll waltz. There in the night was a wonderful scene. Mum was dancing with Dad to a record machine. But as they danced, only one thing was wrong. They were trying to waltz to a rock and roll song. 1, 2, and then rock. 1, 2, and then roll. They did the rock and roll waltz. Rock 2, 3, roll 2, 3. It looks so new to me. I love the rock and roll waltz.
I'm just seeing everyone
Well
say I'm
done.
singing.
I know everybody's saying, well done, Roddy. You might notice that me and Roddy were having a little bit of a giggle through that, weren't we?
Yeah.
Because Hector is behind the camera. You can't see him, but he's dancing.
You want to come
He's
in?
trying to put us off by doing a little bit of waltzing in the background.
I just thought something during that song. It
What?
could be the Rod and
The Rod and Roll Waltz.
Yeah.
The Rod and Roll Waltz.
Rod and Roll.
Okay. Well done, Roddy. That was excellent.
Yeah.
Well done. Right, I am going to go and jump onto the piano.
And I'm gonna go out the door.
You're going to go. Okay, and Paul will come in. Well done, tutors.
Bye.
That was great. You can say bye to everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Right. Poke it okay?
Right.
Right, no nonsense,
Whoops.
you two, please.
Well, Shona gets herself sat down. I'll get back down here. Well done. Is that the first time he's sung properly? No, he's done it more than once. Anyway, that was great. We're going to turn you around. You ready?
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Great. So this is a song that I actually didn't know until today, until this afternoon. And I saw it and I thought, that is a lovely wee song. And it's a song that was written by Laurie Holland in 1984. And she was born in 1932 in the Bronx in New York City, and she actually recorded a couple of CDs. She recorded a CD of Scottish songs and a CD of Irish songs for Smithsonian Folkways, and you can actually hear snippets of them on the internet. It's great. She's still on the go, but this is probably one of her better known songs. So this is a song called Didn't I Dance, or Didn't I Dance in My Day, and I just thought it was a lovely wee song. So Hector's been mucking about with my settings here. Okay, so this is Didn't I Dance. Grandmother heard him, his song was so sweet. She danced to the fiddler on little bare feet. She was 15 and fair, with braided black hair. Didn't she dance in her day? And over the years I remember she said, one night as she kissed me and put me to bed, when I was a maid and my song was played, didn't I dance in my day? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance in my day? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance in my day? Mother, she danced in a long silken gown, hair done in curls, the belle of the town. There was many a man who asked for her hand. Didn't she dance in her day? Now when she dances just once in a while, she says, I remember those times and I smile. I think of the night my dance is so light. Didn't I dance on the days? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance in my day? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance in my day? See the young girls on a soft summer's night, silhouettes lent her against the moonlight, hair flowing free. Once that was me. Didn't I dance in my day? But now that I'm older, there's one thing I know. I'll go on dancing, the tempo be slow, and I know that someday to my grandkids I'll say, didn't I dance in my day? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance in
Yes, it is.
Makes me a little bit emotional, I must say.
Well done. Never heard that before.
No.
I could do a wee bit. Sure.
Oh, sorry. We're hearing too much. Okay.
So here we are. Another show over.
Oh, Harry Lash is saying it sounds eerily familiar, like the band played Waltz in Matilda. It's the exact same tune for the da 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 he did he da.
Yeah.
As I'm laid in my hospital bed. Yeah, it's the exact same tune for it. So,
Definitely.
there you go.
Well, anyway, it's still a nice song, though.
It's a lovely song.
So, next week will be number 60. I have to say, the numbers they're not really dropping overly much, but we'll have no real concerts for the next couple of months, probably, anyway, so we'll keep it going. But if it might happen is, you can Fridays with folk begin to move about more. Notice in the States, you can folk, it's a middle afternoon on a Friday there, and a lot of folk are working on on a Friday afternoon. So what we might do is we might shift a Sunday evening or something like that. We'll see. But
there's no imminent plans for it.
No,
Stick to
there's
Friday just now.
but I've certainly had inquiries about stuff on Friday nights already for later in the year. So things will inevitably change. But anyway, we might be up at 100 by that time. But anyway, number 60 next week. In fact, I thought we could maybe do, well, certainly for myself, is if you want to put in any suggestions of stuff you've enjoyed over the last year, because it's our diamond anniversary this time. Then we've had our gold.
There's a couple of things that I'm going to sing probably to do with diamonds.
Well, I was going to play
Diamonds are forever. Get my burley chassis on.
Well, I thought I'd do the diamond special that I wrote for your granny and granda.
Yep.
That was your granny's suggestion with title. So I would play that. But other than that, if there's any good suggestions, I'll certainly give it a go. Although, if anybody suggests slow airs, I'm going to hate to draw the line because I don't really want to do a whole night of slow airs, although I could and I would quite enjoy it, but it's not very varied. No. So, anyway, that's the plan. So if you've any ideas, fire them in and
I send a message to Paul or to me.
Yeah, we'll try and accommodate you. So
what's in the box? 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 What's in the box?
Fits in the box.
Nobody's gotten it right.
No. So fits in the box this time. I have to watch my fingers this time.
Do you want me to do it?
No, it's okay.
Oh, the excitement.
It's a broken bike chain. This was because Hector last week got
He bought himself a new bike.
2
weeks ago. Bought himself a BMX.
Aye, and he saved up his own money and bought it, and then discovered that the chain was broken and the valve on one of the tyres was letting air out, and so he's hardly been out in it. So it's his chain off his unused bike.
But it's now working, and we've got it replaced.
Shona's
so
dad is a bit of a bike expert. Not a bit, what he's a real authority on bikes, and he can fix them and he can ride them. And he's been up in the Alps.
And over the Sui as well.
He's been up he's cycled from Huntly to Tarland more than once. So anyway, so he'll seen this more closely in mess folk because he was girdling about with it. So anyway, a bike chain.
Nobody got it
beer.
Right. Nobody got this right either. Did they? No.
Which pleases me greatly. This is an innocent gun. It's barrel aged. And the reason there's still half what's sitting, because I don't want to drink too much, because it's 6.8. It's quite strong. It's quite strong for beer. It's called Blood Red Sky.
That was quite nice. I could probably drink that. I wouldn't have went more than one, but
it's a rum barrel red beer, despite looking black. As I said, when you heard it up the light, it had a kind of ruby colour. It was lovely. But anyway,
Paul Gray saying Sunday night wouldn't work for them, or else every week you'd have Anne and Paul's Sunday roast. We wouldn't have any updates on further tea.
You could roast something different every week. This week we roasted the vegetables. So anyway, thanks very much, folks.
I was going to say next week as well. Are we going to have a dress down Friday next week? Because we've never had a dress down Friday. I have had a full face of makeup and a posh frock on every single week.
I feel like I need to make an effort.
Well, you can wear your kilt. I'm going to wear my pyjamas.
I'll tell you if I might do is just go in fancy dress or something.
Okay.
I might be back in my kilt, let's face it. It depends whether I can be bothered to look for.
To be quite honest, nobody would ken, because nobody gets a look at your kilt unless you're standing up.
I would need to stand and see. You can't see, look, it's clearly a kilt. Look, you can see my There's my stag's head.
But I might do a dress down Friday, and I might put my pyjamas on and not have any makeup on and tie my hair up. And then I can go
Fair enough.
straight to my bed after we're finished. I wouldn't need to do any of this and take it off.
Well,
I fancy a pyjama Friday.
well, Anna goes on
I
it, so
do too.
I'll hate to do something different.
I'll lend you a pair of jammies. I've got a nice onesie you
Come
can have.
on. like the Hulk. So,
Oh,
anyway.
Paul Gray says, come as panda.
Come as...
Now, yeah, so dress down Friday if you fancy it. If you're sitting in your jammies, send in some photos. My mum, who has been in her jammies for 59 weeks on a Friday, is having to dress up. I'm telling her to
Quite
get dressed
right.
properly.
So, anyway,
Pajama
that's...
party!
That's next week, so we'll see how that pans out. We'll see next week and see what sort of tunes we'll be playing, because it'll be a mystery to me. If we do get a few suggestions, I've no idea what it's going to be, but it'll be stuff we can't play and sing. So, right, we're going to finish with a tune called the Hawksack Rom Deal, because this day, 1690, was the Battle of Cromdale, which took place. It was the aftermath of the Battle of Killiecrankie, for the Jacobites won, but Bonnie Dundee, James Graham of Claverhouse, died at the moment of victory. He led the last charge of the battle and got a musket ball right in the chest for his pains. So it kind of was a bit of a disaster for the Jacobites. Following that was the Battle of Dunkeld, which went badly for the Jacobites. They lost that, and after that the Jacobite Highland clans kind of went north, and they were quite dejected, led by Ewan Cameron of Lochiel. And by 1690 they were camped up in Strathspey, Cromdale, and the government, a much bigger government army set upon them, and I think the Jacobites lost about 400 of their men. That's half their army was killed on the field. There was 800 of them, and the government, they reckon, might have lost about 100 men. But to lose half your army in a battle, I mean, that's pretty bad. Anyway, in the famous song, which is based on this tune, you might have heard the chorus singing it. Yeah. The Jacobites are booting the government arses out of the park, and my the clans are victorious, and it's just so far from it actually happened, it's not real. But it's a rousing bit of music, so we're going to finish with the Hawksack Rom Deal, and then the Hills of Cromdale straight after.
If you have enjoyed it and you fancy bunging something into the tip jar, feel free. It's www.paypal.me/Paul Anderson Shona Dawn.
Right, let's have a go then.
Let's have a go. Oh, do you know what I need to do first though? Sorry. If I've got dangly earrings in, it goes on my fiddle and it buzzes. Twice and twice.
Yep. 2, 3.
not how we discussed at the end happening, Mr. Anderson?
No.
Do you want to do it again, just the way we did it?
No, because I can't mind. There was a few things one is discussed. Okay.
That's how it was meant to end.
Well, anyway, it was an adventure. I think we'll find.
It was an adventure.
Anyway, good tunes, great tunes. They were for the Donald Grant collection. Donald, let me see if it's said Donald. He was born in 1760 in Elgin. So there you go.
Thank you, Donald.
Have a good night, folks. Take care, and we'll see you. We'll see you later.
See you for number 16 next week.
I'm going to spay them on.
Cheerio.
Cheerio.